Hey everyone, welcome back to Trivia Fusion. Today, we're embarking on a mind-bending journey into the fourth dimension. If you've ever wondered what it might be like to go beyond our three-dimensional world, this is the video for you. We'll explore the concept of the fourth dimension and try to imagine what experiencing it might be like, all without needing any visual representations. Let's dive right in. First, let's start with a quick refresher on the dimensions we're already familiar with. We live in a three-dimensional world, which means we can describe any object using three dimensions. Length, width, and height. These three dimensions allow us to understand the shape, size, and position of objects around us. For instance, a cube has length, width, and height, which together define its three-dimensional structure. Now imagine adding another dimension to these three. This new dimension is what we refer to as the fourth dimension. But what exactly is the fourth dimension? In simple terms, it's a spatial dimension that is perpendicular to all three of our familiar dimensions. Just as you can move forward and backward, left and right, and up and down in three dimensions, the fourth dimension introduces a new direction that is impossible for us to visualize directly because our brains are wired to understand only three dimensions. To help us grasp this concept, let's use an analogy. Imagine a two-dimensional world like a flat piece of paper where everything exists in only two dimensions. Length and width, the inhabitants of this flat world are like stick figures, completely unaware of the third dimension. If you were to introduce a three-dimensional object, like a sphere, to this two-dimensional world, the stick figures would only see a circle, the cross-section of the sphere as it passes through their plane. Similarly, if a four-dimensional object were to pass through our three-dimensional world, we would only see a three-dimensional cross-section of it. This means that we would perceive it as a changing three-dimensional shape, rather than the entire four-dimensional object. For example, if a four-dimensional hypercube, also called a tesseract, were to pass through our space, we might see a series of three-dimensional cubes appearing and disappearing. So what would it be like to experience the fourth dimension? Let's start by imagining how we would perceive familiar places. Picture your house. In the fourth dimension, you wouldn't just see your house as it is right now. Instead, you would see every event change and moment that ever occurred in that specific position. This means you could see your house being built, every meal ever cooked in the kitchen, every person who has ever entered or left all at once. It's like having a complete timeline of your house's existence laid out in front of you. Now, if you walked over to your neighbor's house in the fourth dimension, the events would start to shift to show all of the moments that occurred there. You'd see their house's entire history too, from construction to all the life events that took place within its walls. Each step you take would reveal the rich tapestry of past, present, and future events at every location you visit. This idea might be easier to understand if we consider how we experience time in three dimensions. We see only the present moment, with the past as memories and the future as possibilities. But in the fourth dimension, time would be fully visible, much like how we see all the rooms in a house as we walk through it. Every instant from the past, present, and future of a location would be accessible, giving a much richer and more complete view of reality. Imagine moving through the fourth dimension, not just spatially, but temporally. You could visit historical events as if they were happening right now. Want to see the signing of the Declaration of Independence? In the fourth dimension, you could witness it firsthand. Curious about what will happen in a specific place in the future? You'd have the ability to see that too. Another fascinating aspect of the fourth dimension is how it might affect our perception of objects. In three dimensions, we can see the outside of objects, but their insides are hidden unless we open them up. In the fourth dimension, you could see the inside and outside of objects simultaneously. It's like having X-ray vision, but even more powerful. Imagine being able to see the inner workings of a clock or the layers of a tree from its bark to its core, all at once. The concept of the fourth dimension also extends into theories in physics. In particular, string theory and other advanced theories suggest that our universe might have more than three spatial dimensions. These extra dimensions could be compactified or curled up at such small scales that we can't directly observe them. These theories aim to explain fundamental forces and particles in the universe by considering these higher dimensions. Without requiring visual representations, we can understand the fourth dimension through thought experiments and analogies. Visualizing higher dimensions challenges our understanding and pushes the boundaries of what we consider possible. It opens up a world of possibilities for how we think about space, time, and reality itself. In summary, the fourth dimension is moments that happen in every three-dimensional space: length, width, and height. While it's difficult for us to visualize directly, we can use analogies and thought experiments to imagine what experiencing it might be like. Whether it's considering movement in new directions, perceiving time differently, or interacting with our world in ways that seem impossible, the fourth dimension offers a fascinating glimpse into the possibilities beyond our three-dimensional reality. If you enjoyed this mind-bending journey into the fourth dimension, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode of Trivia Fusion. Keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you next time for more amazing facts and thrilling explanations.